So prior to the pandemic, I used to do a lot of live shows with the podcast. And it was such a great way to promote the podcast, but also something different. And it would get a lot of great feedback from folks. And it helped really build momentum around the show. Now that the pandemic is over, I'm going to start doing them again. But I had to get a rig to set them up because there's two main problems I ran into while doing live shows. Number one, is that I would have to rent the PA system to be able to broadcast to everybody in the audience so that they could hear everything. And that was a hassle because the place that's closest to me that rents this type of equipment is about 45 minutes away. And the whole returning and everything, they're a great place. Don't get me wrong. It's fantastic. They do a great job, but it was just a big hassle and a lot of work to be able to get that and then return it and make sure I didn't forget anything. The second biggest problem is that if you don't do that, you have to rely on the venue's sort of setup. And I didn't want to do that because they're all different, they're all weird, and they can get a little fussy, especially if they've got an audio person there. They don't like their stuff being messed with or touched, and they're used to just showing like live musicians. So just plug in your instruments, be done, and get out. But with the recording and things that I need to do, I need to touch their systems a bit more, and they just didn't like it as much. So what I wanted was an all-in-one compact mobile live studio. And that's what I'm going to show you today, what I've put together. Hope you enjoy it. Hello, I'm Kurt, a former pro athlete, exploring the world of entrepreneurship, writing. You can check it out. It's on Amazon. It's called The Little Book of Networking and Podcasting. Join me as I build my businesses, tackle projects, and share what I learn. Sometimes you should just use a screwdriver and not one of these. Excuse the mess, but this is the setup here. You can see there's a ton of inputs, a lot of changes and things you can make if you want. What's cool about this is that I got it used off of eBay for about $160 and worked out great. You can really make some adjustments, fine-tune things, especially for a live show where you can plug in and play some music while things are going on, while people are getting situated. I've got a bunch of mics here that I also got off of eBay. I'll kind of go through those. The speakers are pretty straightforward. They're not very heavy and they come with stands. So they sit up there and you can move them around. There's really long cords that came with this one. So it makes it easy to sort of move around. And the other part here is that the whole thing, basically all the audio goes into the Rodecaster and then just comes out of it. Now, I had a Rodecaster for a while, but you can find one on eBay for about $200. If you want to go with the newer ones, that's great. But for me, all I need is a tool that is lightweight and allows me to record each audio or each microphone separately. So each one of these, I've got them color coded. Again, you can find these on eBay. These are great mics. Even if you're in a loud environment, you're not going to get a lot of extra stuff. So when I would do a live show in a brewery, it'd be great. Oh, and I also have this bag. You'll see a bit more of it earlier that fits the Rodecaster and all the other pieces that go in there, and it makes it really lightweight. I wanted to show a breakdown sequence of what it takes to sort of pack it up because, again, doing a live show, one of the most annoying things about a live show is tearing down. And for those of you out there who are musicians and watching this, you've probably forgotten way more than I'll ever know about how this stuff works. But you can see it's real nice and easy to pack up that PA very quickly. And the bag is great. It's very padded. And I know it's a little pricey, but you don't want something that is going to be cheap for this equipment isn't cheap. So you don't want to pack it up in cheap stuff. Now, again, sure, throw it in a tote bag and go nuts. But for me, I wanted something that was specifically set that would hold it tight, that I could just toss in the back of my truck without a lot of issue and be able to head to the venue. And what's great about this live setup in my mind is that I don't really have to rely on anything. All I really need is 2 outlets. I need to plug in the PA and I need to plug in the Rodecaster, and I'm set to go. I can go anywhere and do a live show. I can record it. I can have each of the microphones individually on separate tracks, so I can adjust the tracks with greater precision. I really enjoyed this setup. It's going to be great. When I get to actually use it in a live setting, I'll do another video where I show off how. It's just a backpack. You throw it on your back and then you carry the PA very simply. And I also want to show, because I got these tripods with you, there is a spot on the side of this bag here that allows you to strap them into it. Now I had to do a little adjusting here. Takes a second, but it's pretty cool because, again, you want this thing to be as mobile as possible so you can get in and out of places and get set up, because, again, your goal is to do a live show, get the recording, get it right, and get out of there without a lot of pain and hassle. And there it is. You can see it's not too bad. It doesn't take too much to carry. Pretty simple stuff. Fits, and it's all there. It's great. Okay, well, that's the live show setup. As you can see, it's pretty sweet. This bag can fit a lot more stuff in it, and this is pretty tough, so you can just throw it in the back of anything. And I didn't include this mic because it's probably pretty rare that I'll have to deal with that, but it's a cool setup. I like it a lot, and works great. I want to show you a couple of the projects I've been working on or starting to work on, and give you an idea of what's been happening this week. A couple of quick things. This is another project that's coming soon. I got a bunch of stuff here from my wife's uncle. A bunch of video stuff. Well, I should say film. It's not video. A bunch of film stuff. And I'm going to be scanning all of this in and seeing what's on this stuff. This one says Hawaii to San Francisco. And there's a cool projector here. I haven't tried to see if that works yet. There's this old school projector. And then there's this cool editor here where you can edit your film. You can edit the footage here, but it's mechanical. It runs, like, there's a cord for it. So it's pretty cool. And then this for viewing said film. So there's a bunch of other stuff in here to go through. There's a million of these 3D glasses and then these things to view them with. I have no idea what this is. I love the branding on these things. Isn't that cool? Stereo Realist. I don't know. There'll be lots to go through in that project. So more on that one coming up soon. And then let's go into the office. Hey Google, turn on office. So here I'm putting together my quick overhead rig. I've got these big negatives of my father and my uncle. They're somewhere in here. Maybe I probably put them somewhere else. But they're big, like negatives. You can't scan them with a scanner, so I need to photograph them from overhead, and that way I can get more of the color range, because I want to make a big print for my office. So stay tuned. Hope you liked the little preview of the live setup. If you enjoyed that, do all the clicky things and stuff. And more to come.